Social services comprises close to or is around 43% of this budget. And there are the corresponding reductions, as has been pointed out, in the agricultural sector, in the infrastructure sector, which I would imagine are by definition parts of the building blocks of the economy. And if the purpose is poverty reduction, then surely the theory normally is that for poverty reduction we must create jobs. To create jobs, we must grow the economy. But if we are reducing our expenditure in our public investment in the different building blocks of the economy, are we not defeating the purpose of our anti-poverty attempts?
No, Your Honor, because it is not simply that we cut and we provide for the alternative. Precisely, as we have stated earlier, given the fact that indeed we do not have sufficient resources at this point to respond to all the needs of our economy, this administration has crafted and as a flagship program.
I do understand that the PPP, the Public-Private Partnership Program, is considered by the government to be its multiplier when it comes to these investments. And I'm hoping that after the conference in the past, I think a few days, where the PPP details were hammered out, that we will get more details about the PPP, because during the presentation, we were presented with a lump sum and we weren't given any of those details. But nevertheless,
unfortunately, your chair was not invited to that conference. And the fee was something like nearly $2,000.
Is this radical increase, or really rather rapid increase in social services, is this a trend in our budget? Is this the direction in which the administration is taking us? Are we slowly heading towards a welfare state?
Yeah, Mr. President, I am just looking at data here on the government expenditures as a percentage of the gross domestic product. And indeed, our country since 2000 up to 2009 has an average of about 18% of the government expenditures as a percentage of GDP. And it has not brought us to where we want to be. And I think the present budget maintains the same percentage.
It is only something that we can continue to do in the very short term. There have to be some systemic changes in the economy that we have to institute for the growth of the economy to occur, for those jobs to be created, and for people to be gainfully employed. Because we have seen the experience of, well, most of Europe, for example. I know I was in England when basically the National Health Service bankrupted the government. We have seen that even now President Obama in the United States is wrestling with the healthcare program for the simple reason that it is very, very expensive and they have to get a handle on it. My concern is simply that if we start to go down this road, it may be a slippery slope, and we might experience the same difficulties that those countries have. So we start with Section 30. At least 5% of the budget of each agency must be given over to, in this particular section, it talks about gender development. Now, why 5%? And for example, the example that comes to my mind is Department of Education. 5% of the Department of Education's budget will be spent on gender development, when 90+% of the department is inhabited by women. And so why are we spending that as well? I'll take it further, and Section 31, we talk about senior citizens and differently able. In Section 32, we talk about the youth. But surely each department has its own function. And we should not involve other functions, like putting youth functions in DOTC, for example. It simply doesn't make any sense. And should there be any savings, for example, the operations of these different departments, they should revert to the general fund and be used again for the core functions of those departments. That we should further study the mandates that are being given to the different departments, because they seem rather arbitrary, and the numbers seem rather arbitrary, and do not seem to correspond to the need. We just put a number in there and decided that that is the number we're going to use. I would just like to suggest, perhaps, I do understand that I understand, Mr. President, that the chairman of the Finance Committee has a bill that he has filed to address this problem. Maybe a way to do it so that it can take immediate effect. And perhaps we should add a proviso limiting all self-repayment of benefits. And maybe a formula would be that all bonuses and emoluments that given to members of the board of the GOCCs should not exceed the basic salary of the president of the company. Furthermore, that the dividends, the stock options, the preemptive rights, all of those things that they have been taking advantage of, should be paid back as income into the agency that those board members represent. Could we not possibly put that in already now, so that the desired effect of what will, I'm sure, become the Trilon bill become already effective for this year? There is again I suppose it is a holdover from previous budgets, but it would seem to me to be redundant, because here we have again Section 75 preference for priority provinces, cities, and municipalities. Now again, that is a laudable effort, but surely with all these social programs that have already been included in the budget, that this section is no longer necessary, because the identification of priority provinces, cities, municipalities, and even down to households is ostensibly already being done. Again, in Section 81, it is a similar kind of a section, but then this is specific to IT equipment. And again, perhaps we can strengthen this further, because our experience has shown that sometimes those who are sort of, shall we say, less than honest in their dealings will simply form a group or take over a group and give preferential treatment to that group. So perhaps we must strengthen the procedure wherein those kinds, the IT service contracts, are entered into. General provisions, Mr. President, I will reserve my other questions for the specific line agencies. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. President, to the gentleman from the office.